A good Erev Shabbos, everyone. A good Erev Chanukah. For you, for me, it's Chanukah already. This week's parsha, a devastating parsha. The story of Mechiras Yosef, the sale of Yosef, one of the most difficult parshas in the Torah. Something that's really been with us for 3,500 years. Some Chazal tell us that there were different times that we had to get a kapara, get an atonement for this sin, the sale of Yosef, the hatred that existed between the brothers. There were sacrifices that were made in order to be able to clean up that sin. There were events, Chanukah, the Roman exile, the Asar Harugim Malchus, the killing of the 10 sages. All of that was to atone for this incredible sin of the sin of the hatred that existed between brothers. But what was the root of the sin? The real nakuda, the real point of that sin. And we say that there was jealousy, that there was hatred, and all of those were just outgrowths and symptoms. The real tragedy and travesty was that nobody stopped to ask each other, what's going on with you? Where are you coming from? Why are you doing the things you're doing? Just explain to me so I can understand. Yosef never stopped to ask his brothers, and his brothers never stopped to ask him. When Yosef went to tell his father about the dibara, about the bad things that he saw his brothers doing, his brothers had a justification for them. They had a reason. There was a machlokas, a difference of opinion between Yosef and his brothers as to whether they were Jews already or whether they were still Bnei Noach. And therefore, without going into great detail, the reason why the brothers did the things they did is because they saw themselves already as the Bnei Yisrael. Yosef looked at them and said, no, we're still Bnei Noach. But had they stopped and asked each other, why are you eating that meat? Why are you doing that? So it could be, things would have ended up very different. If they would have said to Yosef, dude, what's with the dreams? What's going on? And Yosef could have explained it to them and explained where he was coming from, explained that these were prophecies and prophetic visions and they really should take it up with God. And if they just would have had a conversation, everything would have been different. And forever, we've been suffering because of that sin and trying to figure out a way to be mechaper, to clean it up. I was witness to something today that was incredible. There was a group of soldiers, 15, 18 soldiers, that were brought to our Beis HaMedrash, that were brought to our study hall, to the place that we learn. And secular. I don't have the time to describe the level of secular existence. Really no connection to any kind of essential Judaism. But they were offered an opportunity through some educational program that they were doing in the army. This was an elite unit in the army. They were offered an opportunity to go meet Charedim, to go meet ultra-Orthodox, very religious people, and to begin a conversation. They came into our Beis Medrash, they made a presentation about Chanukah, they studied, they learned Bechavrusa, they learned Gemaras that they had never seen the inside of. Every one of the guys in the Kollel took another guy, learned with them. It was an organized program. Then they came up to our house. To Shashi and I, they came up to our house. 16, 18 of them, whatever it was, sitting around the living room, schmoozing. I spoke a little bit. And it was just incredible to see the door open and to hear what they had to say about this program, about the couple of hours that they spent, that they had never really talked to a Haredi person, never really talked to a religious person, which most of the country hasn't. And they were so amazed at the warmth and so amazed at just people, just normal human beings. And myself and the brother of the community, we spoke about this was opening the door. What are we seeing inside? And it's a great beginning to a conversation. It's a great beginning to a relationship. It was just a beautiful thing. This was the atonement. This was the atonement from Mechiras Yosef. It wasn't just breaking down the hatred, but it was talking to each other. It was trying to understand where each other is coming from. I'll tell you a beautiful thought that I said to them. I said, we're all like Sufganiyot. Sufganiyot, look on the outside, especially in America, it's a donut. But then when you open it up inside, there's something so beautiful and sweet and delicious inside. I said, human beings are that way. On the outside with donuts, so whatever, and piece of cake. But when you open it up inside, there's something so magnificent and beautiful inside of every one of us. And if we would only investigate and hunt and ask and open a conversation, we would be able to be privy and to see that beauty, that awesomeness that lives inside of every person. To me, this was an exquisite moment. This was the beginning of the future, of just having a conversation, of seeing the humanity and the beauty inside of another person. And this was the beginning of the building of that destroyed Beis HaMikdash. This Chanukah, as we light the lights should go on in the world and give us the ability to be able to see inside of all of those that we've put on the other side of the fence, all of those that we've put into enemy territory, all of those that we've written off. We should be able to see their inside, their essence, their illumination, and realize that inside of every single one of us is something beautiful and magnificent. And when we recognize that, that's when we begin to rebuild the Jewish people. We should have a beautiful, amazing, awesome, wonderful Chanukah and a very special Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom.